Hello everyone, this is Gary Maloney for Sacktown Slam, and I am here with my friend Danny, and we are here to talk about a lot. Now, for everybody here, I know it's been a big break for me. I've had a lot that I've had to do between shows for SPW and doctor's appointments. Yay, doctor's appointments. But I'm back. I'm here to talk about a lot of things. I know I've been gone since before SummerSlam, which has been a bummer. But there's some very big things in wrestling news right now that I just felt were too important to ignore. So we're going to start with the first one. And I want to send this message out because I have been one of the most vocal, I want to say, one of the people that has been the most upset about the push that Roman Reigns has gotten, and just very negative about the Roman Reigns narrative, and talking about just the fact that this company pushed Roman Reigns because he was related to The Rock and this and that. I'm going to be 100% fair here. I don't hate this person. Not at all. I mean, things that are done by creative do not at all influence my view of anyone as a person. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Joe Anoa'i and his battle with leukemia, and I hope that he wins, and I hope that he does come back to fight in the WWE, because if he does, then he will come back to a chorus of cheers instead of a chorus of boos, and he will come back as a hero, because everyone will know that he won and fought the real battle in real life, which, in all honesty, when you bring that real life element into wrestling, into kayfabe, that just makes it that much more impactful. Danny, would you like to say something?
Yeah. So yeah, before he announced that he had leukemia, I didn't know he had it until I got a message from a friend telling me what happened, because I wasn't able to watch the show that night. I had to wait for it to come on Hulu. And yeah, I like with Gary, I previously was talking a lot of bad negativity towards Roman Reigns, but it's towards the fact that I'm not putting a lot of hate on him as a person. It's just more of his of the character, and yeah, I understand how he was just getting a bigger push because, in my opinion, of his relations towards other well-known performers for the company. But yeah, I like Joe and Roman Reigns. He's been slowly getting better, but there are times where I didn't need Roman Reigns in the main event for me. But yeah, I hope for him for the best. Hopefully he beats this. He beat it before. I'm pretty sure he can find the strength to beat it again. And I might add that pretty much just goes with any performer in any wrestling company. If we're starting towards negativity and hate, it's just we're not we don't personally hate the person. We just the character, because how they are doing in the ring, on the mic, and whatever. If I don't personally know them, I don't hear anything behind the scenes. So yeah, basically, yeah, just it's all fun and games in the show. They be the bad guys, so you can get that reaction of the boos and the hate, and like when they're the good guys, you want to cheer because that's the reaction they're trying to get out of you. And that's all. I'm going to end right there.
So we're going to segue that from basically talking about one thing that was very much pushed by the company to another thing that had an extreme lack of push by the company. And if you don't know what I'm talking about WWE Evolution. Now, you look at this and the way it was placed. And I don't know if you agree on this or not, but they placed this pay-per-view in between the Super Showdown and Blood Money, Crown Jewel, and really how much attention can you give to a pay-per-view when in between the two shows there was only 3 weeks? And you spent the majority of those 3 weeks building up to Blood Money. Crown Jewel. It's just, it's somewhat disgusting because NXT spent more time and the Mae Young Classic spent more time building up to Evolution than the main roster did building up to Evolution. I'll give SmackDown a teeny bit of credit because the feud between Becky and, Charlotte, that did get a little bit of attention, a little bit of love and care on SmackDown. But Raw, no. That gave no attention to what essentially was a squash match at Evolution. I'm not even sure why you bothered having a diva fight a UFC champion, cough cough. She was throwing both Bellas around like rag dolls. Like, how is that entertaining? I'm just saying. The woman's evolution was built on good women's wrestling. Not putting your divas out there. And I'm sorry if people are offended by that, but there is a difference between a woman's wrestler and a diva. Your divas are on the E! Network every Wednesday night. Your women's wrestlers are on NXT every Wednesday night. You get my gist right there? So, I'll be honest with you. Is there a place for both? I guess. But when you turn around and you hand Nia Jax a title shot that I don't necessarily feel that she deserved, it's dumb. It's incredibly dumb. And then, let's get to some of the other matches. You had a 6-woman tag between the Riot Squad, Natalya, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. We have seen this match since this year started! Get it over with already! No one cares anymore. You're just throwing 6 women out there for the sake of throwing them out there in some sort of mixed match of whatever for no apparent reason. And this was sort of what I was worried about when they gave Ronda the title, is realistically, who the hell is going to beat Ronda? Now, last night at Evolution, Shayna Baszler also had a match against Kairi Sane. My hope was for Kairi Sane to win it, thus putting, Shayna Baszler to the main roster, and before you build up the 4 horsewomen versus horsewomen match that might happen at WrestleMania now that Roman versus Rock can't happen, you can start building that with maybe Shayna being very cocky towards Ronda, and those are 2 women that believably you could have fight each other. Because people would believe that Shayna could beat Ronda. In my opinion, anyway. What about you, Danny?
It's pretty much anyone's game if you put those 2 together, but for the WrestleMania build-up, I'm just looking at the 4 horsewomen of wrestling and the 4 horsewomen of UFC.
Now it's rumored that horsewomen versus horsewomen may be the first time ever women's main event at WrestleMania. Yeah, we get another one of those. But honestly, though, that one would be extremely well-deserved. Because the 4 horsewomen of wrestling earned their fucking spot. They had to fight for everything. And then, when they left NXT, the only one that really mattered was Charlotte. But, that's because she has, namesake. The others, maybe Sasha a little bit because she's Snoop Dogg's cousin. But, look at what's happened to Bayley. Bayley is just, who cares? I'm glad that Becky is SmackDown Women's Champion and beat Charlotte at Evolution. That was a good thing. And I swear to God tomorrow, if they say they're going to give Charlotte another shot at the SmackDown Women's title, I will go to fucking Stamford, Connecticut and knock some people out in creative. It's ridiculous. Charlotte does not need to be so entitled. Yes, she's a Flair. I get that. But she has had 9 friggin' title reigns in 5 years. 9! At me. I dare you. Look it up. Starting from her Divas title reign to now, she has had 9. Actually, excuse me. Starting from her NXT title reign. Excuse me. I should be more clear on that. But, bottom line here. I'm glad that Becky won. I just hope Charlotte does not get another shot. Give the next shot to Asuka. You screwed her over with Ellsworth twice. Now, in terms of what happened with the Mae Young Classic final, some people might disagree with me on this. I have very mixed feelings about it, because I would have liked to have seen Io Shirai win, but Toni Storm, that's not a bad wrestler. And they both, legit blew the house down last night. I think of all the matches, that was probably the best. So, I'm not unhappy with the 2 people that made it to the finals, nor am I unhappy with the result. That was one of those matches where, there was no loser. And there would be no bad ending unless there was some kind of stupid finish. But this was a tournament, so you knew that wasn't going to happen. So, I think that, we're headed in the right direction for women's wrestling. I think that, it was a decent pay-per-view. It should have gotten more press coverage, but it felt more like a a PR move by WWE because the women haven't been able to go to Saudi Arabia than it was something that they pushed as a legit pay-per-view. I mean, if you'd have given me the chance, the booking power, this thing would have been a friggin' super card of honor type of, thing. I mean, it may not have even had any title matches, but it would have had some good matches, I'll tell you that much. There would not have been a battle royal that was, okay, it wasn't meaningless. It wasn't like the women's battle royal at WrestleMania. Like, the battle royal here meant more than the one at WrestleMania. The fuck? It's like, if I'm Naomi, I'm like, why am I happy about getting a vagina-looking trophy when the woman that won this battle royal, which had less women in it, got a shot at the title? It just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna hand it over to you to get your thoughts on Evolution.
Let's see, my opinion on Evolution. I would say it had its pros and cons. It wasn't that bad personally for me. There was a lot I was kind of expecting more out of. Personally, in my opinion, the only good matches that were really worth watching were the NXT wrestlers and the ladder match between Charlotte and Becky.
Actually, that was Last Woman Standing.
Pardon?
That was the Last Woman Standing.
I didn't say that?
No, you said ladder match.
Oh, yeah. Well, Last Woman Standing. Pardon me. But yeah, those were all very impressive matches. Like, I think my major disappointment was probably the tag match with Lita and Trish and Mickie James and the replacement of Alicia Fox. No, who replaced Alexa Bliss for her injury. But yeah, I was very disappointed because I was actually really looking forward to it because I was excited to see like Trish and Lita wrestle again, but like they couldn't really do what they did. Like, you know how like those old time wrestlers, they come back, they'll wrestle and they look awesome doing it, and you get that you still got a chance. Lita and Trish they don't get that, in my opinion. No one chanted it either, but like, yeah, I was just really disappointed because like it looked like through the whole time Mickie and Alicia was carrying the whole match because you can easily show it. Even when Lita and Trish have the upper hand, you can usually see how like they're being helped by whoever they are working in the ring with, and it was a big letdown because, like I said, I grew up with these two wrestlers. I actually met one of them a year ago, and yeah, like that was my disappointment. And then like the Ronda and Nikki match, like it's pretty much what I expected. The only thing that didn't happen, which I thought was going to happen, is the old little switcheroo that those Bella twins always do and gets away with. But no, they didn't do it. Hell, like, Brie even had a different outfit, different hairstyle, so, like, I already knew right away it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, and of course, I'm okay. Ronda retained. Glad Nikki didn't win, because personally, I'm not a Bella fan. They keep saying like they did a lot of great things to help the women's division, and in my personal opinion, I think they the ones that brought it down. Like, they're like the main divas of the company, and the diva division wasn't that good. All you get was a bunch of Barbie dolls. And you didn't get, like, the only ones that weren't really Barbie dolls were people who can actually wrestle, like Trish and Lita. Like, remember when they had that main event on the Raw for the first time and they just like killed it? Like, hell, Lita almost snapped her fucking neck from that jump she did over the ring, the ropes to hit Trish. Like, you can see her back of her skull touching her shoulder blades. It was bad, but it was so cool though. Like, I'm glad she didn't cut her career short from it. But yeah, it's like the closest thing we saw something that awesome was with the last women's standing match between Becky and Charlotte. Like, it was a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be. But like the pay-per-view itself, like not all the matches were very good. Like the Battle Royal, like I was kind of disappointed who won. I mean, like, yeah, like she does deserve an actual rematch title shot between her and Rousey. I get that, but like, I don't know. I just, my personal opinion, like, I just didn't think Nia should have been in that position anyway. Like, she's a good wrestler. She's okay. She's pretty decent because, like, she's a big gal. She can easily, like, toss people around. Kind of like with Braun Strowman or something. She's basically the Braun Strowman of the women's division, in my opinion. But like, I don't think her character, especially when she's trying to be a heel, it's where like her mic skills gets kind of sloppy, and she's just being a diva. That's what her personality gets for me. I feel like she's just acting like a diva. But like, and for like post Evolution stuff for like SmackDown, like, yeah, I really don't hope to see a Charlotte and Becky again, but like I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen because like the women's division in SmackDown aren't that really good compared to Raw's, because like the only other person would be Asuka, and like I don't think they're gonna give her another shot as much as I think she should be champion. But I highly doubt like, oh, Becky's next rivalry will be between Lana or Iconic. Or what's Andrade's manager?
Zelina Vega.
Yeah, I don't like her.
It could be Naomi.
So yeah, that would be the closest thing. And me, like, I was never a fan of Naomi. Like I was done with it when it started. Like, even when she was with Alicia Fox being little cheerleaders with Funkasaurus. Like, no, like, it didn't catch my attention as it did probably with other people. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, she's got fans and people will love to see her trying to get a title shot. And personally, me, I think they should be someone else. Like, yeah, so like I said, not much of a good list on the SmackDown roster for people to go against Becky other than another Charlotte match.
And if they're not going to give it to Asuka, they're going to give it to Charlotte, which it's disturbing and it's unfair, and we all know that Vince has some racist tendencies, unfortunately, when it comes to Japanese superstars. We saw it with Nakamura and why he didn't give him the WWE title last July. And I don't mean July of this year, I mean July of 2017. And we saw it when, you know, he didn't give him the title at WrestleMania, and we saw it when he didn't give Asuka the title at WrestleMania. So it's and then we saw it again when, you know, Ellsworth was more of a star than Asuka in a particular match that she had against Carmella for the title, which is just more ridiculous crap, you know? Anyway you slice it, Evolution, I think should have been better pushed by the company because it was the only pay-per-view inside a U.S. border for this month. And B, if this was going to be your all-women's pay-per-view that you've been pumping up for 2 months, they've been pumping up this pay-per-view. And, you know, apparently, scalpers had to sell these tickets for almost close to nothing. Because they bought a bunch of Evolution tickets, and then weren't able to pander them off because nobody was interested, because WWE wasn't pushing the show. They were all worried about blood money and the Super Showdown. So it just, this show very much got the short end of the stick, and it really does suck that the women got the short end of the stick with how
they deserve better than that.
They do, and with how fucking talented the women are right now. Like, I think I can safely say you and I have at least been a fan of this product for 25 years.
Yes.
So, and we've seen women come and women go. Through the pre-Attitude Era, and the Monday Night Wars, the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, C Nation, PG, and now what they're calling the New Era. But the fact of the matter is, this New Era has much better female wrestlers. I would dare say that the last time we saw such a staunch difference in wrestling ability was when the Attitude Era started. So, and I think WWE should not take that for granted. So, let's go on to our next topic here. And, oh my God. Crown Jewel. Okay. I do need to kind of put this into a point-to-point, sort of a timeline so that people understand what's going on. So, WWE, I think, announced Crown Jewel, back in July?
Yeah.
So,
We're in the mid-late summer.
Mid-late summer. So at that point, no one was really cared. It's like another show in Saudi Arabia. They're probably just going to hand him like $1 million in freaking oil and call it a day. But, it was what it was. I mean, it didn't bother anyone.
Yeah.
About a month ago, I believe it's the Washington Post writer who was taking refuge in a Turkish compound, and that's where he would write his stories. And, this compound, I guess, was considered American soil. Now, if my facts are correct, he's seen going into the building, but tape never shows him going out of the building. And some news leaks have said that this guy was tortured and murdered. Now, we had originally assumed that. Then there was news only a few days ago that his body parts were found in the general's garden of the Saudi Crown Royal family. So that's pretty much like go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. That's guilty. And I don't think you can sit there and say, well, somebody else put them there. No. Okay, that's bullshit. Now, many, many things have happened since this was a thing. Originally, when the story was first reported, Daniel Bryan, AJ, and John Cena did not want to go. Now, I guess AJ is going to go ahead and do it, but there's no word yet on Daniel Bryan. We will probably find it. I mean, if Daniel Bryan hasn't pulled out by tomorrow, then it is most likely that he probably got paid a large sum of money to do this because he did not want to go. He was up there with Cena in terms of people that didn't want to go. But I think the reason he's so valuable now is because over this past weekend, John Cena pulled out and then put a message on Twitter basically saying, if you don't stand up for values and this and that, then people are going to see you for who you truly are. And he didn't point any fingers, he didn't name any names, but I think Cena's, opinion is pretty clear here on how he sees this and on how things are going. Then Vince McMahon, I believe over the weekend, was also, I want to say, on the Pro Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer. And Meltzer just straight asked him, you've gotten some negative press about this Crown Jewel event, how do you feel with the things in the news that have been going around as of late? And Vince McMahon just said, I'm going to decline to comment on these things. And just totally, deflection. A lot of people about this event have been saying cancel Crown Jewel, move Crown Jewel, all these type of different hashtags. Like a lot. A lot of people are like, if they hold it in Saudi Arabia, I'm canceling my subscription. Or I'm not watching because I'm not giving them the joy of the views. Now, here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to cancel your subscription. If you do not view Crown Jewel, that's going to be at the bottom of the fucking barrel in terms of things that are viewed, which means they're not going to get money for it anyway, is in terms of things that are viewed on the network. So it's very, if basically what I am saying is that I am not going to be watching Crown Jewel. Fuck WWE. Fuck their blood money. If you want to work with essentially people that are domestic fucking terrorists, that's fine. But that's not my gig. Y'all can have your fucking $2 million in blood money, which is really all you're getting out of the $45 you're being paid, because the rest of that is going towards flights and accommodations and wrestlers' pay. So, and since Brock Lesnar's going down there, I'm sure a third of that is going towards Brock Lesnar. So, it's just like, this feels to me, and the funny thing is after that guy from the Washington Post, I believe his last name was Khashoggi, after he was murdered, Washington, D.C. gave them a venue to do it at. I believe it was the Wizard Stadium. London, England gave them the venue that they had the UK tournament at to do that in. And they said no. And they didn't want to break the deal with the Saudis. The reason why? Money, money, money! Oh my God, Vince wants his $2 million in revenue he's gonna get. Hey Vince, you see this? It's the world's smallest violin, and it's playing for you right now. Because after you do this, there's no going back. You are officially endorsing terrorism. And that's the way I see it. I mean, others are going to see it differently, and they're entitled to their opinion. This is America. This is America! I thought this was America! And this is a very, very toxic time, because another thing that I wanted to mention, and this isn't even just WWE, I mean, we saw the whole thing with Nike and the NFL when they decided to endorse Colin Kaepernick. People burning Nikes in the street. it could end up ending that way for WWE. And I don't think that they want something like that. Like I said, they've already had their 3 lowest rated Raws ever in the history of Raw's 25-year history. And you're really gonna risk that to go to Saudi Arabia to collect $2 million? When $2 million isn't really that much money to WWE. It's really not. It would be the equivalent of me going to Saudi Arabia and instead of making $3,300 at a regular venue, I'd be making $3,500 at that venue. It's not worth it. It's not, I mean, literally, the State Department in the United States almost canceled their ability to go to this show. I mean, it almost got to that point where our president, and he's not exactly the swiftest one, but our president had to cancel it. So this has been a very, very big, comedy of errors on part of mostly WWE. And we'll get to this and as to why, when we talk about Raw in a sec, but they had to replace John Cena in the tournament because he was a part of that world tournament. So it's bleeding more and more into the mainstream, storylines, and it's going to hurt WWE. But one of the biggest reasons, and like I said, money, about this whole thing is that they didn't want to hurt their stock prices. That's the only reason they didn't pull out. Because if they'd have pulled out of this 10-year Saudi deal, they'd have hurt their bottom line. So, when it comes to morals and cash, we all know what Vince is going to pick, and it sure the fuck isn't morals.
So, my opinion towards Crown Jewel might be a similar but slight difference of what my friend here was talking about. Oh, I'm gonna. I will. Well, yeah, the whole incident with the man who was murdered, as it said. And then the John Cena and most likely Daniel Bryan stepping out and replacing them like what they replaced Gina with Bobby Lashley, and who knows how they're going to replace Daniel Bryan.
I was going to save that for our Raw review, but okay.
Yeah, you already mentioned it.
Did I say Bobby Lashley?
You did. Like I said, a ladder match. But yeah, I guess, with all that issues, WWE could have probably easily stepped out and probably do it somewhere else. I wasn't aware that they were offered at other countries and even even inside the United States. But personally, maybe there's just something behind the scenes that we don't know yet. Maybe that they can't really break contracts. And maybe there's something else around it, who knows, but it's still a bad idea personally to still do this, and hopefully after this, if everyone's still okay when they get back home, hopefully they can find a loophole to end relations to Saudi Arabia and just do a different country, like maybe Japan or something.
they wouldn't be the first company to do that either. There are a lot of different companies.
I know. Maybe, and possibly another reason, I just thought of this too, like maybe they haven't backed out of Saudi Arabia because, like, this will involve money, but like maybe they already paid all the expenses and stuff to do this event, and it would have cost more money to pull out and go somewhere else.
Potentially pay them back the money.
Yeah, but there's probably some other areas where they can't get the money back. So yeah, again, another reason will be money. But yeah, like that's probably another reason where like the expenses were probably already paid and it's too late to back out since it's literally this week. But yeah, so as for me personally, I probably will still watch it just to make sure everything looks good and see what kind of crowd response are like there and who wins what, because as a wrestling fan, I was actually pretty hyped of this pay-per-view. I mean, I wasn't as hyped as the Greatest Royal Rumble because Royal Rumble is actually one of my favorite pay-per-views. Because you don't know it's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Having two so close together.
Yeah, but like personally, I think the Crown Jewel is a little too close back toward the Evolution and, of course, the Showdown in Australia. If they were trying to do another Saudi Arabia show, they should have planned it for next year and do it once a year, because that's originally what I thought was going to happen. They were going to do a once-a-year event in Saudi Arabia. But no, this is the second time in this year, because the last one was the Greatest Royal Rumble, and I think we had that in the late winter, early spring. Because I think it was like it was definitely after WrestleMania. So I think
The Greatest Royal Rumble, I think, was May.
Yeah, I think it was because it was definitely after WrestleMania. So it was probably like mid-late spring then. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, they should just, if they had a different date, did it next year, there probably would have been better chances of them backing out, since they had plenty of time before they had to do anything else and look up any loopholes to where they can get out of it if they really wanted to get out of it and go somewhere else. And they can still call it Crown Jewel because there's a bunch of other countries where it involves royalty and kingdoms and whatnot. Like I said, like when UK offered, yeah, they are royalty. You can still call it Crown Jewel there. Maybe not have it green. You could probably change the color. You can make it like blue or gray. Because yeah, I won't get into that much. But but yeah, like for the Crown Jewel show itself, yeah. Like, since I still watch it, let's see matches wise. The Best in the World tournament. It's kind of hard to say who would win out of that. I personally don't want The Miz because I'm not a Miz fan, but. As much as I want Jeff Hardy to win, because Jeff is like one of my favorite wrestlers, I highly doubt they're going to give it to him. So your best bet is probably either Orton, Rollins. I doubt they're going to give it to Lashley since he was a last-minute pull, and they were to do that, it would have been gone to Cena. And I don't think Kurt will get it. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts of like who probably will win it. Either be Orton or Seth Rollins, even though I personally want Jeff Hardy to win. And then since the Universal title match, I really don't want to give it back to Brock, even though that might be a okay idea. But personally, we barely saw the Universal title this year. We don't need it gone another year. And it's coming to the point where that champion was no longer important when Brock had it. It was the top thing to go shoot for, but when you're watching the show, you don't really care about the Universal title because it's not there. And it's not there in majority of the pay-per-view, so what was the point of even having it? So that's why I really hope Braun Strowman wins, because he had so many opportunities and he should have won it early on, but like hopefully he gets it, because I really think Braun deserves it and he'll have a good run with it. And other people, like I had my buddy who's probably right behind me, he wants Brock to win because he likes Brock again, but he also wants the fight with Brock and Bobby Lashley. But that could happen, and that could even happen even without the title. Like, they had really big hype matches where a title wasn't even involved, so they can totally do one with Brock and Lashley that doesn't involve the Universal title.
I mean, if they did that with Goldberg and Brock, I'm sure they could do that with Lashley and Brock.
Yeah, they like a lot of matches with Brock that they hyped for. Majority of the time, he didn't even have the Universal or WWE title when he had that title. Like with him and The Undertaker, Brock didn't have a title. And they pushed the Undertaker match quite a while, to the point where like you actually saw more Undertaker than you usually do nowadays. And then let's see, what other matches? The AJ Styles matches. So
AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, if Daniel decides to
go.
Yeah, because like they're still advertising that match as if Daniel is still going, but who knows? Daniel might announce a dropout or something tomorrow night, and they might have to pull something out of their ass like they did tonight with Bobby Lashley, because they didn't do anything special for someone to get into it. Fucking, we'll get more into that on the Raw topic, and then what other matches? Let's see. Oh yeah, the tag matches for Raw, and there's not really much SmackDown stuff going on other than AJ. Now that I think about it, like we got nothing for the U.S. title, and Raw-wise, nothing for the Intercontinental title, because we got the
Crown Jewel tournament, which is probably going to take up the majority of the paper.
This is you're right, so that makes more sense, and plus we got a good chunk of SmackDown wrestlers for that anyway, so that so it could be good, but like who knows? Like, it's a really sensitive topic right now for the last week or so. So who knows what will happen come Friday. Anyways, I'll give the mic back to Gary, and we could probably do a finish up or go back to the next topic.
Well, like I said, we didn't really talk about Raw too much, and there was a couple of points. I mean, Raw wasn't, like, astounding, but after the way last week's Raw ended, and that's one thing I want to talk about. Oh my gosh. All the people that were like, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, you shouldn't have done the heel turn on the same night that Roman announced he had leukemia, hoo-hoo-hoo. Shut the fuck up, people. You know, so many people out there, and I want to just say this, just personally. Wrestling has become way too PC. And my personal problem is that it's heel turns like that get you to watch. It's heel turns like that make you say, oh my god, he actually did that? That, like, have your jaw half drop to the floor. They're like, he actually did that. You know, and Danny and I were talking about this during Raw. Stuff has become way too formulaic in WWE just these last 4 or 5 years. And that's years, okay? And it's sad. It truly is. But last Monday night, I think, was a move towards the better in terms of storyline. And the reason that is because you are going to have, with so many people injured, and with Roman Reigns unfortunately out with leukemia, you're going to have a lot of guys that are very hungry, and they want to be the best.
They want to be on top of that mountain.
Exactly, and that mountain at this point does not have a top. I mean, and like you were saying with Brock and Braun, I hope to God Brock Lesnar doesn't win that title. Because if he does, you may as well just get rid of it. Because you're not going to see it for like 4 years, probably. Like, it will be the most meaningless, Raw this Monday was brought to you by Twizzlers. Well, a Twizzler is going to be worth more than the Twizzler strap, okay, if that happens. So, I'll be honest with you, Braun has been robbed so many times. And given what has happened to Roman, you need to give it to Braun. Braun is someone that will be there every Monday. He's someone that will fight every Monday and every pay-per-view, unlike Brock Lesnar, where it's like, money, 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 because that's the only language that fuck knows how to talk. So, him and Vince, unfortunately, are two of the worst at the all I talk is money. I wipe my ass with $1 bills. I hate people that do that in wrestling because it's just disgusting. And because there are wrestlers that barely make anything on that roster. And it's disgusting. And yet, they're the ones that work their ass night in and night out. Yet, it's guys like Brock that are do-nothing fucking assholes that get paid millions upon millions of dollars for showing up 4 times in a year.
And most of the time, he doesn't really do anything. He just stands there.
Exactly. So, I really hope it's Braun that wins. And since it's technically a vacated title, if Braun wins, Brock don't get a rematch. That's right. Now,
this is true. Technically, yeah. This should be technically his rematch clause for a Universal title shot. Doesn't matter who it is. It's a rematch for a chance to get the title back.
Well, that's the whole reason he was put into that match to begin with.
Exactly.
So now, it's almost better odds for him because it's 1-on-1.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I still don't think he should get it because he's not a guy that's going to be there on a regular basis. And I have problems with people that use their name to fucking forward their agenda. And it sucks. And we've got 2 right now in friggin' Ronda Rousey and fucking Brock Lesnar. Because who's gonna beat Ronda Rousey? Oh, Nia Jax? No. We already saw Nia Jax lose. So unless I see Nia Jax fucking turn around and become Randy Orton and start pulling earrings out and shit, I don't think that she's gonna beat Ronda Rousey. So, I'll be honest, it's not, it just, when I saw her win the Battle Royal at Evolution, I just wanted to vomit. But, whatever. Anyway, getting back to, to Raw, which is really where we wanted to go. I'm like fucking going over everything else, but getting to Raw, they started it with Corbin out there, and then Brock came out. Corbin, I don't know if that was just a botched F5 or whatever the heck it was, but I'm surprised he didn't bust Corbin's head open,
F5 Braun.
Or
Strowman did his finisher on Corbin.
Oh, so he was the one that,
Strowman got F5, and he one that nearly got his head busted.
Oh, yeah, because he dropped Strowman in a very weird position. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong bald guy. But one is extremely larger than the other. Point being, though, that was sloppy on part of Brock, and I'm sorry, these guys are not here for your entertainment. So I would maybe practice a little bit, because your F5 execution is beginning to suck. Then, I mean, we got a 5-on-5 pointless women's tag match, which, who won that one again?
The same winners from Evolution.
Oh, okay, so
The
that
good
was
guys.
Lita
The gals.
and Tori Wilson, or no, it's Trish Stratus.
Sasha, Bailey, Natalia, Lita, and Trish.
Well, yeah, the 5 good guys. And whatever. From what I'm hearing, this may go on to Survivor Series, and that 5-on-5 may be your women's 5-on-5. But I don't think that may be the case, because they also announced tonight, which, our friend Ivy thought was, whatever, but I'm kind of hyped for it. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. And I'm going to tell you, Alexa Bliss can't wrestle for jack shit. I'm going to tell you Nia Jax can't wrestle for jack shit. But when it comes to Becky Lynch, that is a whole nother ball game, folks. So that should probably be the best match of probably both of their careers, considering all things considered,
Also, if I might add, this is technically going to be our first taste of horsewoman versus horsewoman.
Which may very well be why they're doing that at Survivor Series. So, I mean, this just keeps getting more and more interesting with that one. And they started selling tickets to WrestleMania.
They posted that saying WrestleMania tickets are going on sale, Friday?
I think, yeah, Friday.
Or somewhere in November. It was November the tickets go on sale.
Oh, yeah. I think it was 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
So, essentially, they're beginning to give us a taste of what we might get at WrestleMania. And if we are getting horsewomen at WrestleMania, usually they start the build to WrestleMania at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
So, maybe, Hey, I can hope, can't I? It's still real to me. So, another thing was that they were really giving a lot of time to Bobby Lashley and Lucian Delight. Excuse me, Leo Rush. Leo Rush is definitely an obnoxious fuck. But I'll tell you that much. But he's got me kind of liking him, and I guess supposedly the idea for his character came from Paul Heyman. So, and because he wanted to be, this African American guy that kind of wanted to promote a guy, but not exactly, but like he was like a boxer, a fighter, or something in that range, kind of like the way what's his bucket promoted Mike Tyson back in the day.
Yeah. The dude with the
Yeah.
I know that guy.
So that's kind of where that idea came from for his character. And I'd say Don King, wasn't it? Or some...
I think it has something to do with King, because I remember he had a crown.
Yeah.
And he had his hair spiky like it worked.
Very much. Yeah. So, I mean, it's very interesting to just see how this is evolving, because I like the fact that Leo Rush is talking for him now, because he's not sitting out there singing fucking Rockin' Robin, number one. And number two, he just had this weird smile. Like, it was hard to take him seriously with that smile. After after that, really, the only other thing that really caught my eye was the second to last part of it, which you had Seth Rollins calling out Dean Ambrose. And, oh my God, Dean Ambrose was giving some Jon Moxley shit to the fans today. Man, that's like fan service 101 for all of us original TNA fans. Like, the way he was looking at him, just like this, and then licking his lips like that. And just like, he was out there in like just a gray sweater, like, like he was just a fan and he didn't give a shit,
He didn't really say anything, even though he had a mic.
He had a mic, but he
didn't say a thing.
He did not say anything. And you see this whole Silent Dean thing. I'm gonna be honest. The whole Silent Dean thing is a plus. Because that's what he was before he turned heel and then he started talking for a couple weeks. If he is in this heel turn and stays silent, that's a plus. Because we all like the silent heel. We don't want to hear why. We just want to see you create friggin' chaos.
Yeah, it'll build that whole effect since he's the lunatic. We're not knowing what's going on in his head.
Well, apparently, we obviously already do to a certain extent. He feels like he's taken for granted, that the whole Shield thing was all about Seth and Roman, and that he was just, a pawn, a puppet. And they were winging it, according to reports, on when they were going to turn him heel. It was supposed to be at Survivor Series, but because of what happened to Roman, they moved it up. And yes, you schmucks, it was with Roman's blessing. So, and anyone that want to fucking argue with me on that can find me on social media. I ain't hard to find. So, it's Gary Maloney. Anyway. But, yeah, I think I was critical of it at first, but after all things were said and done, I honestly liked where it went. I liked how this is going. Obviously, at some point, there has to be an obligatory rematch for Ziggler and McIntyre. It wasn't even meant to be at Crown Jewel, so they don't have to worry about that until after. It obviously can't happen at Survivor Series because that's, brand versus brand.
It might be an on Raw event, maybe.
Yeah, and more than likely it'll be like a Raw main event or something of that ilk. But, then again, how are they going to go about that? Dean and Seth can't even talk to each other, much less fight in the same ring. Unless they sit there, have them go into the same ring, have Dean dirty deed Seth, and walk away.
And then Dolph or Drew just goes for the
pin, 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So, which is more or less what I see happening. I don't know, but, the last 2 weeks of Raw have been decent. Not as good as SmackDown, but decent. And, watchable. I just hope that these next 3 weeks are not, And by the way, this was the go-home show for Crown Jewel, just, in case people weren't, paying attention. That's how WWE treats a go-home show these days. But my guess is that 3 weeks after Crown Jewel, we have freaking Survivor Series. So hopefully the next 3 weeks will be better than the last 3 weeks when we were trying to build to 2 pay-per-views.
Thank you. Yeah, this tonight's Raw event was Could have been better. Like I mentioned earlier, how they just rushed the whole Bobby Lashley's replacing John Cena, which kind of makes sense because it came out of nowhere, and I'm pretty sure they didn't have enough time or anything to do, like, I don't know, a battle royal to determine who gets the spot, or just say, ooh, these two, you'll be in the match, and whoever wins, they get that spot. No, they're like, since you beat up Finn Balor, we'll just give you the spot, because, hey, John Cena ain't going.
They even mentioned that John Cena wasn't going.
Yeah.
So they didn't even try to kayfabe.
The quote Baron said, the guy who didn't earn his spot, which is true. They just gave it to him. He was the first person they announced who was going to be in the tournament, and he didn't even do anything. That's Cena for you.
But then he doesn't go.
Yeah.
That's Cena for you. No. There's obviously a reason why.
Yeah, we broke down that reason earlier on this. Yeah, so
I'm dissing on his reason.
So
for not going.
yeah, like there were some other interesting matches. Like since I actually got to watch a whole full episode of Raw, because the only time I get to watch Raw is when on Hulu, and they only give me half of what they air. So I don't get to see everything. So I did not know that Bobby Roode was teaming up with Gable. I did not know that. I'm sorry, I still call him Rockstar Spud. He's always Rockstar Spud to me. I did not know that he's the new manager for AOP, which I saw him and he actually looks kind of badass with that matching jacket and stuff. Okay, I like this. I like this new look for him. Well, yeah, bye, AOP needs a push. And then, let's see, what else did I saw that was kind of new? Oh, yeah, Elias turned face. I didn't see that last week.
Yeah, he smacked. He was trying to play guitar, and then Baron Corbin told him to get off the stage. And then he left the stage, came right back out, and then just glammed him over the back.
Yeah, he literally Jeff Jarrett, Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of liking this face look. It's the first time I ever call him being a face, and so far I'm liking what he's got, and hopefully this could be a good push for him for a potential title opportunity and possibly a title reign for any card.
And you gotta love that song he sang to Corbin today.
Yeah. And then let's see, like Gary mentioned before, there was the 5-on-5 women's match, and it was just basically if they combined the two matches from last night into one, and you got the same outcome. And again, Trish and Lita, were just dragging along with it. They couldn't do everything they did, and then you see them doing their finishers, and the newer lady wrestlers are doing their finish. Like you see Bayley doing a twist of fate and whatnot, and then they get it on the top corner. At first, I thought Bayley was going to do a swanton, but no, she does her elbow drop.
About the run up.
The run up. That's how it started the match. Trish tags in Lita, and they got insert name here on the corner.
It was Ruby Riott.
Oh, it was Ruby? Okay. And then Trish gets on all fours as a little boost spots for Lita to run, to jump and hit Riott.
Kind of like classic Hardy style.
Yeah. With Lita, she kind of did a fast walk, and she had trouble getting up on Trish, and when she did, she just kind of just leaned forward and just threw her arm, and it looked really sad, and I'm like, oh, she's really doesn't really got it anymore. This just go back home, go back to retirement, please. You're making me as a fan sad, because I don't want to see a wrestler I grew up watching, doing all these amazing things, and they get back into the ring and they don't got it anymore. I'm sorry, it hurts me too, it really does. And then let's see, again, tonight, we had the whole Nia thing, and she fought Ember Moon, and Nia was just acting like the diva type deal, and she's got that heel type character, and I'm just not buying it, and then but what really got me was Tamina came out, because apparently I guess they're gonna have like a little feud going on, but the Samoan ladies of wrestling. But then that was kind of cool and all, but like for me as a huge Ember Moon fan, she was just kind of now in the background of, because like hell, after Nia won, Tamina comes in and Ember Moon just disappears. Like she's no longer in the ring. You don't know where she's gone, and like they just now focus it on her. Like that's this point, because like Ember Moon, she is probably one of the most talented wrestlers on the roster right now for what she can do, and they are technically undercarding her. Not even a mid card, they are undercarding her, and that sucks. She deserves so much more. Like, yeah, I get it. Let's not push her right away when she gets to the main roster, but she's been on the main roster for months now, and she should at least have maybe a big title type opportunity. Maybe not win, but give them a run for the money. Like, give them one hell of a match, like she did in NXT. Like, hell, when she was feuding with Asuka, like, there was a bunch of close calls, like, oh my god, Ember might do it. Ember might win. She might beat the streak, but she gave it her all. She's doing all these amazing things, but yet she still lost to Asuka, but, like, she still gave us one hell of a fucking show. So the fact that they're undercarding like this, it could have been, no. Just no. She deserves so much more.
Do you remember last night at Evolution when, it got down to the final four, and then Asuka and Ember Moon were fighting each other? Yeah. That whole crowd. NXT.
Oh yeah. We got to relive a little bit of that feud again, and oh my god, I was living every second of it, because it literally only lasted a couple seconds.
Yeah, but that is how you get people excited about women's wrestling.
And then, of course, tonight they did another burial of the Revival, because fuck the Revival. Yeah. Be elite. And then, let's see, we have the Undertaker, Kane, and DX met face-to-face. Kinda. It's pretty much like they expect. DX did a little dirty trick and jumped them. And just a big lead up to Crown Jewel. See who wins that match. Hopefully, since I'm a big Brothers Destruction fan, so I hope they win. I mean, as much as I'm a huge fan of DX, I don't like where DX is now. I'm not really a big supporter of Triple H as his character. I like what he does behind the scenes, but as his character, I don't like him. Shawn Michaels, again, he follows where Triple H goes. That's where it's been, like, and that's how it's going to be for a while, I guess. So we're not going to get that DX moment. We're just going to get the corporate man and his best friend. And they just wear DX shirts. Got the glow sticks. Yeah, they brought back the glow sticks. I noticed that.
Well, yeah, they threw a bunch in the crowd.
I know, because the last couple of weeks when they came out, they never had the glows. They just got their Bone Cross T-shirts, which, in my opinion, I don't like the design. It looks shitty. Just give me something different, but give me something that feels like, because it didn't feel like it was a DX shirt. It just feels like something like for Triple H, like it was a Triple H type shirt, not a DX shirt. It wasn't a DX shirt. Let's see what else happened. What happened in the main event again?
That was the last two things.
That's right. I remember seeing on the corner like, Matt Hardy's having his Halloween party tonight, so I'm gonna go check that out when I get home on network. And because I'm a Hardy fan, so no matter what persona they go by.
Like, that's the sad part. The last two segments on Raw had nothing to do with wrestling.
And then, what else happened? like I said, like I'm not used to watching 3 hours of the show. I'm used to watching an hour and a half, so I don't get to see much. Yeah, it's, Dean Ambrose Rollins segment, that was it was interesting. Like I was kind of hoping Ambrose would say, I don't know, something small, but little to the imaginative of what his motives like in his head. Like we have ideas, but we don't have facts. Because if those ideas went into account at that time, then yeah, those would have been facts. But right now they're just ideas, and I also agree. I believe this heel turn during Roman Reigns' step down was probably the best decision. And yeah, and Roman's cool with it, and like we knew this was gonna happen. Like when Ambrose came back, we all knew he was gonna eventually turn heel and against Rollins, and they were gonna feud together. The way they did it, could have been. I was expecting a little different. Like I would have thought. I didn't know he would do it when they win the Raw title. So I don't know. So that's going to be an interesting factor that they're feuding together, but they're Raw Tag Team Champions. So how that works, I don't know. Like we mentioned earlier, maybe they're going to try to do a match, and Dean jumps Seth and walks away, and Dolph or McIntyre takes the win, and they retain titles, and they probably do it on a Monday night event instead of, because they didn't advertise it for Crown Jewel. It was originally supposed to be in Crown Jewel, but they haven't advertised it, especially since both sides of the groups are in the best in the world tournament. So I highly doubt they're going to have them in multiple matches. Let alone we don't even have a SmackDown tag match at Crown Jewel. And and we're not going to do it in a Survivor Series because that they're going to have champion versus champion because they already announced.
And brand versus brand.
Yeah, so they already announced Ronda and Becky, which I'm actually excited for that. Like,
that got me all tingly down my spine.
I actually I can actually totally see Becky winning somehow. Other people might disagree because it's Ronda Rousey, however you pronounce her name, Ronda. We'll just go by Ronda because I don't speak that good. But I would say this: even if Ronda does mop the floor with Becky is still going to give a whole better show than what the Bellas did at Evolution, because Ronda's not fighting a diva. She's fighting a wrestler. It's like what's that wrestler's name at SPW?
Oh, gosh.
Who fought Sir Samurai in the Gauntlet?
Oh, the woman. Yeah, Liza Hammer.
Yeah. She said like one of the coolest quotes I have ever heard for a female wrestler. Don't treat me like a woman. Treat me like a wrestler. I was like, oh shit. That's like side topic, but like that's how I was like feeling with the whole topic we were discussing.
Well, yeah, Becky definitely, just embodies that entire ideology, and so does Ronda. So that's going to be a bloodbath, I guarantee that.
Oh, yeah. And, like, despite, especially with Becky's type of heel persona right now, it wouldn't surprise me if she did something like a dirty move to try to get either the upper hand or a win. And since we're having Survivors coming up, hopefully we can have something good leading up to like another Under Siege or some other creativities that hopefully will live up to the Under Siege we got last year, because that was amazing.
Maybe Raw gets him back, Well,
because like when they split the brands again, we had the first year we had the Raw team being like the bad team, and we're all rooting for SmackDown. Then last year, after they did the Under Siege, we're now rooting for Raw because like, what the fuck, SmackDown? But yeah, and sure enough, like Raw won last year, as of the year before, SmackDown won. So who knows what's going to happen for this year? Who's going to be the team we're rooting for? Are we Team Raw? Are we Team SmackDown? Either way, I want a T-shirt.
Not to mention the fact is that are we going to get a rematch of Brock and AJ, assuming who the champions are going to be?
This is that's also pretty true. I personally don't want to see that again. I mean, if I do see it again, I really want AJ to win.
Well, me too. But yeah, I mean, there wasn't much else to talk about with Raw, and that's a 3-hour show.
Yeah, they didn't really push a lot tonight. A lot of them were just a lot of mid-undercard matches.
And a lot of it was just this and this happened at Evolution, and this happened earlier. Yeah. They really need to stop doing that, because you're taking 2 or 3, maybe even 4 segments and just showing stuff that happened hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
That's unneeded. If we're watching your product, chances are we already know.
Yeah, because they kind of keep repeating the whole Roman has leukemia thing, and what do you know? Yes. Can we just move on about that?
That was pretty hard hitting, I think, for the locker room.
It did.
So, I mean, if they show it again after this week, then it's like, okay, you're trying to freaking Sheryl Crow us. You know what I mean?
The only other explanation they'll try to keep mentioning it is with Seth and Dean feud, because it happened after he announced that. So
that's very
Seth
true.
Already mentioned it tonight. Why did you do that? Right after when Roman had to leave for leukemia. So we're probably still gonna hear about Roman illness with Seth and Dean.
Up until until that feud is over. Yeah, you're probably right. We're probably gonna hear about that until that's over.
Yeah, personally, I just don't want to hear a recap of what happened a couple weeks ago, and they show the whole video again multiple times, mind you, and then you'll see the commentators, they'll look all sad and this is a serious situation.
Want to say one thing though. I don't think Seth will win that Best in the World tournament. Do you want to know why?
Dean?
Yep. I think Dean will attack whoever his opponent is.
Is Dean even going to Crown Jewel is the question.
That's also another question. Or wrestling. Yeah, that's true.
That's why I'm not too worried about McIntyre interfering with
Ziggler, and
I don't think McIntyre's even going unless he's gonna be by ringside with Dolph for it.
Yeah, I don't know, and I honestly, because obviously some people are more concerned with security and others may not have been invited, so there's a lot we don't know about, Crown Jewel that, I'm sure we'll find out on Friday. So
point of if Braun does win the Universal title, I really want his first feud to be with McIntyre, because that will be one hell of a show. A monster versus the Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
that'll be a good feud. That'll be good.
That would be great.
I'm already hyped just thinking about it. So
honestly, I think that's why. Well, that's one of the reasons I want Braun to win. Because if Brock wins, he'll probably won't even defend it again until Royal Rumble.
That will be the next time, and that's January.
Exactly my friggin' point.
Hear about the title
for 3 months. And that's usually at the end of January, so it'd be 3 months.
So they're just gonna have to again keep pushing the IC title.
Which I just, what they really need to do is get an IC division set up, and I think that might be. Well, yeah, but it's hard to tell what the mid-card is on Raw these days. So, I mean, the last week or so, a lot of people have been jockeying for position. Elias has been jockeying for position. I love the way that, Drew McIntyre sat there and freaking gave that freaking big ass kick to Braun Strowman, as you were talking about. So, and Bobby Lashley, if he's not as injured as was previously reported, which it does seem that that's the case, that, he could be a key figure. I think with Lio Rush talking for him, that's a good thing. Because he's starting to piss off the crowds, which, again, when you create a reaction, any reaction is better than no reaction. That's just a rule in wrestling. You don't want to walk out to crickets. It's a very, Lashley needed a mouthpiece because Lashley's just not good at talking for himself. And cause he seems to me like another big guy that's a big softy, cause he's always smiling. But that was the problem. He was always smiling.
Yeah.
He
had that stupid grin the whole time.
It's like, hi, I'm Bobby Lashley. I'm a tough guy. No. I'm sorry. It's the same with Finn, and it's the same with Bobby Roode. They had this stupid grin. It's like Kevin Dunn. They want to see his big smiley teeth, No. Okay, folks, it's just like, you can stop, with your Crest ads already.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. We know that you use extra whitening, okay? It shows. So, but, this week's Raw was not stupendous like last week's, and,
It had some exciting points.
It did have some exciting points. It was, but, my other curiosity is SmackDown, because we will know after SmackDown who is and who is not going to Crown Jewel. I have a feeling. And by Tuesday morning, it'll probably be all over the internet and YouTube with all the YouTubers out there that do this type of thing, who is and who is not going. So, it should be interesting. WWE is holding a lot of this close to the vest and are probably angry with John Cena with putting that on what he did on Twitter, because that's straight up dissing Vince McMahon. But, what the fuck? Blood Money! Next tag team in the WWE, guarantee it. Muhammad Hassan and... Anyway, boy, we've been on here
almost an hour and a half.
Almost an hour and a half. So,
I think we touched up all the topics.
I think we have touched upon every single topic that could be touched up upon. So, I am Gary Maloney.
I'm Danny Fontana.
And I'm gonna call it a night. And, I will see you all next time.
Too sweet.
Peace.